come back to this one. I think that's right, we'll come back to it. All right, CAPTA, federal funding to states for grants, data collection, and information. Sound right? It is right. What does CAPTA stand for? And the thing social workers do?
Treatment Act.
Yes, the Child Abuse Prevention Protection Treatment Act, 1974. It provides just a few things. It provides federal funding to states for grants. To states, it provides grants for research in other areas. It enforces data collection and collection of information. So CAPTA is really important because there is no federal. Prior to CAPTA, there was no universal definition of what child maltreatment is. Every state had their own definition. And while that is still true, the federal government, through CAPTA, said every state must support this minimum definition of what child maltreatment is if they want to have CAPTA funds from the federal government. Right? So CAPTA makes it that every state has a minimum baseline definition of child maltreatment that is the same. Some states add on more. So in some states, you can have educational neglect if your kids don't go to school enough, right? But in some states, that doesn't exist. In some states, there's emotional abuse, and in some states, there's non-emotional abuse. But every state has a baseline definition of what makes up sexual abuse, physical abuse, and child neglect because of CAPTA. So if you want federal funds for child maltreatment prevention, your state has to adopt that baseline definition. It also mandates that every state has to send to Cornell for some reason all of their administrative data on child welfare. So now we have a huge database of child welfare for the nation that's housed in Cornell that dates from the 1990s to the rest of it. Like that. Okay, nerd. We've got need, equality, rights, and dessert. Sound right? Okay, do we want to go through those, or do you think you're feeling okay?
Dessert.
Wait a minute. What is dessert? Anyone want to tackle that?
It's like what you deserve. So using your example of you paid different children to paint the fence, one does it diligently, one says I'm getting my dollar no matter what. For me, it's just, dessert is the child that does it diligently. I take out dessert and I just remember deserve.
That's a good one. Yeah. Think about it as your just desserts, right? It's the thing that you are entitled to. The thing you deserve to have. All right. Normative cultural theory of discrimination. We've got dominant group discriminates to maintain economic advantage. Does that sound right?
No.
No. I don't think it is. Yes. All right. Normative cultural theory of discrimination. Prejudice that stems from socialization. Does that sound right?
Yes.
You've been studying. I can
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is, right? So anyone want to tackle what this one is? So the idea out here is that you grow up with certain biases that are implicit. That the way you grow up, the context in which you grow up, shapes how you see yourself and others, and that this is a cultural phenomenon, and it is normative in so far as you grow up in a certain set of norms, right? And so this is the idea that prejudice that one experiences stems from the way you are socialized as, from childhood through adulthood. Any questions about that? The Civil Rights Act of 1964. Protections for racial, ethnic, minority, religious women, religions, that's bad. Protections for racial, ethnic minorities. Protection for religious protections, for women, and for legal immigrants. Does that sound right? Yep. That is the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I mean, there's more to it, but that's the gist of it. Okay, Medicaid, health insurance for low-income individuals and families. Yeah? Okay, so, what do I say about Medicaid? Medicaid is very important. Covers people who are individual families who are low income. It does a really good job of expanding the reach of health insurance.
Means tested.
Thank you. Yes, means tested, so you have to meet every below poverty, so you have to qualify for Medicaid. That's all I got for the moment. Yeah. All right. Interpretive approach. We have multiple possible right answers. So these are approaches to policy analysis, right? So interpretive approach, multiple possible right answers. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Look, this is very meta. Yes, it is right. This is the one right answer for the interpretive approach. Yes, the idea here is that there are lots of potential policy answers that you get in a given question, and you have to kind of shape how you want to ask that question and be open to the idea that there are multiple possible solutions. Progressive tax. We've got rate increases as payers' income increases. Yes? Right, so it's progressive, meaning that the more you earn, the more you pay, percentage-wise. That's right. The rational approach, it's also called a positivist approach. Well-defined steps that are rational and linear. That's kind of the giveaway, the rational. This is also right. So here the idea is that like, there is an answer, and we can find it. So I think of the interpretive approach as kind of like the sociology approach to policy analysis, and the rational approach as the economics approach to policy analysis, right? So the idea here is that we follow these steps. So say we take cost-benefit, right? We follow the steps of cost-benefit analysis. It will lead us to whether this policy will ultimately benefits, outcome will be a net benefit or a net cost, right? This is a positive approach that tells us the correct answer. Public housing. We have public. The definition is public housing. Okay, public housing is public housing. The general idea is that you pay about 30% of your total income to cover your housing, right? So rents, your individual rent will fluctuate depending on how much money you earn, but it is housing that is owned by the state. Okay, the idea of theory of poverty as crime. We have the idea here is that the poor are lazy or evil. That is the idea of poverty as crime. The psychological theory of discrimination, that unconscious beliefs affect attitudes of the in-group. So related to the normative cultural, right? The idea here is that we have these implicit biases that kind of shape our views of and affect discrimination. Okay, the restricted opportunity theory of poverty is that there are structural barriers that keep the poor down. Sound right? Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So, we talked about this before, but the idea is that you can tinker around the edges, you can make policies to kind of try to help people living in poverty, but that overall what we have is an overall system that is geared towards the wealthy, geared towards preventing middle and working class and low-income people from rising up the income ladder. And so, to some extent, changing benefit levels, creating new programs is not going to fix the problem, right? Because there are these structural problems that are in place. So this, in some ways, is a Marxist critique, right? This utopian idea. So Marx would say, there's nothing you can do. There's no point in advocating policy change. We need to tear the system down and give power to the laborers, right? Okay, regressive tax. Here's some examples here: flat tax, sin tax, sales tax. This is also true. So what's the difference between a regressive tax and a progressive tax?
A progressive tax, not everyone pays the same, so if you make more, you pay more.
Yeah. So we'll take the idea of a flat tax, for example. So right now, the more money you earn, the higher percentage of your income you pay, right? A flat tax is something like everyone should pay 10% of their income in tax, right? So if I make $100,000, then I'm going to pay $10,000. Wait, yeah, $10,000. Not going to do that. $10,000 in taxes, right? Comparatively, that's not a ton of money to me, right? I make $100,000, paying 10 taxes is not that much. But if I make less money, let's just say less money. I don't want to make qualitative assessments of what's a lot, but let's say I make much less money. 10% might be a lot. It might feel like a lot to me, even though it's the same percentage, right? So a high income person, 10% might be a big number, but it might be comparatively little to what they make overall. It might mean less. To a low income person, 10%, even though it's a small percentage, might feel like a big chunk of their income. Does that make sense? Kind of? So it is regressive in that everyone pays the same percentage, but the amount of money is quite different, and it could hurt someone who makes less more. All right, the religious perspective of poverty is that poverty is part of the human condition. Does that sound right? I think it's right. Paul's making me nervous.
I mean, yeah, other than like, it seems like it would be, and it's an opportunity to do good works.
And it's not, that was my next
Like-
question.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. That poverty is part of the human condition, and that means that it is one's responsibility to do good, right? To help those who are in poverty. All right, Head Start is preschool for low-income children and has a whole family approach. Yes? So Head Start, also a Great Society program, started in 1965, I believe, under Lyndon Johnson. Really, really good program. Serves a ton of kids and families. Close to 1 million families a year, I think, between Head Start and Early Head Start. Does a lot for parents as well. So GED classes, job placements, transportation subsidies, social workers, right? Is huge. This whole family approach is really important. It's shown to do really important things for children's early education and overall lifetime well-being. So those kids Head Start kids tend to graduate high school at higher rates. They have better health overall, and they live longer. Research shows, right? So Head Start's a really important program. We spend a lot of money on it. And it addresses one of these fundamental problems about inequality, right? So we know now that inequality starts even before school entry. And so Head Start is really important in that it tries to get into that key period even before kids start formal schooling, to try and lift children up to reduce inequalities in life. The least restrictive setting, so this relates to child welfare, and yes, it is the birth family. So we have that continuum in one of the child welfare slides of restrictive settings, and the least restrictive is birth families. Child welfare is always focused on getting kids back to their birth families, on reunification. Foster and adoption is always kind of the later down the road choices. Means tested is a benefit you have to qualify for. Yeah? Yes, it's a benefit you have to qualify for. So you qualify for a means tested benefit in that you have to have low means. So generally speaking, you have to either be at or below the poverty line or at some percentage of the poverty line. So, 100% of the poverty line is poverty line. 150% of the poverty line is a little bit over. 200% of the poverty line is double the poverty line, right? So generally for the means test programs, it's generally 200% of the poverty line or below to qualify. Human capital theory of poverty.